Does anyone have a question? I've learned in my own life that you can't really detach yourself from things you haven't experienced. And part of being born here is the interaction with life, the experience of many different things that bring to us the karma that we have to work out and to free ourselves from. And that experience, you understand, at that point you have a choice. But if a person kind of hides out and is living in some kind of womb-like existence and, just hiding from life, to me, all that's going to happen is they're going to have to be reincarnated again so that they can come here and experience all the different lessons that life has to teach. And by experiencing them, they can get strong enough inside to let go, to surrender, to be able to free themselves from illusion, from Maya, from, that whole kind of circus of games that goes around, that really fills the lives of most people. I mean, you can't learn how to be free of money until you've had money. And you can't just walk around and say, well, I don't. Once you have it, then you'll be tested and you'll see whether or not you can be free of it. And that's a big test. Money, relationships, all the things that go on in the world are there for us to learn from. And what do we have to learn? How to experience life and at the same time be free of life. That's what we're here to learn. And nobody learns that if they spend their life hiding out and not opening to allow life to truly teach them. Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Okay, Bob. You're highly disappointed if you didn't. Oh, go ahead.
As a male species, I'm not going to be experiencing childbirth in this lifetime. Are there other ways that I'm getting a education in that, or is that just something that will be in a different lifetime?
Could be in a different lifetime. It could be the way you interact with children. You have friends who have children, the way you interact with those kids, the ability to, love them and love them profoundly and give them the foundation, the rootedness to grow in their lives. And look, you don't have to have children to learn how to get free of children. We all were a kid once, and most of us haven't gotten free of that. We're, 40, 50, 60 years old, and emotionally we're 7 people. So we need to learn to get free of ourselves. That by getting free of ourselves, we will learn how, to be free of children, other people. So, look, I mean, I'm a male species too, I think. And I, and I have a daughter. And trust me, you know, you have a kid if you want to find out about karma. I really mean it, nonstop, trying to help them work out their lives without, smothering them in what I think is the real way to live, but giving them the freedom to find themselves. And it's not only children, it's people. I mean, there are people that are in your life who you probably have a lot of disagreements with the way they live, but you have to get really strong, and really liking and loving those people means you've got to give them the freedom to find out, what their path is through the world. So look, none of us have been around here for one lifetime. And probably over the 100 lifetimes we've been born, we've had a kid or two. We had to learn something about raising a kid. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about that, Bob. It's, biggest thing and the hardest thing to do is to get free of that kid in yourself.
Hmm.
That part of us that, as I say, we're emotionally 7 years old and yet we live in an adult's body. That's something we need to get free of.
Hmm.
I laugh because the miracle of being born, of living, of breathing, of day by day getting a little bit older, and the miracle of experiencing all of life has to teach us, no matter who we are, no matter what our opinions are, what we think about life, that miracle, it's sacred.
Hmm.
It's sacred. And as I say all the time, we are opening to the real guru, which is life teaching us. I mean, if you want to live a sheltered and hidden life, life is teaching you that you got to get free of that. Go out and hang out with some people, you know? And because, the path to God is beyond any path that a human being can create for themselves. And the only security in doing spiritual practice is your connection with higher energy in the universe. Not putting a white picket fence around your life and hiding out. And I must admit, when you have a child, you learn that very quickly. But you learn unconditional love very quickly when you have a child. But in order to be spiritually enlightened, you don't have to have children, I mean, it's not it's not an essential thing. But if you happen to have them and use it properly, it's such a tool you can use to grow. Because they remind you constantly what you have to do to love somebody unconditionally. Having students is the same thing. I can't have a set list of conditions about the way any of you are supposed to live. I have to allow you to teach me the way you live and what you understand, and I can unconditionally allow people to find their life. All this meditation is about is getting energy, Shakti. We're fueling our tanks. This is an Esso station, one of God's Esso stations here. We fuel our tanks so the car can run, the machine can run. And then, some go to Albany, some go to Ontario, some are driving to California. I mean, everybody has a different path. But every path can lead to enlightenment.
mm,
So a requirement of me in this meditation class is to open unconditionally to be a vehicle for that energy to nurture people so they can find their way to God. That's what I really always loved about Rudy's work. It's just Shakti, it's energy, and everybody needs energy. Everybody needs, a refrigerator needs energy or it's not going to run. Car needs energy, it's not going to run. Human beings need energy, and most people run their lives on tension. They don't run their lives on, higher energy coming into them and nurturing them. Well, that's what this class is for. I told you it's a cosmic, it's an Esso station, one of God's gasoline stations here. And the gasoline is Shakti, energy that human beings really need. And the mind doesn't provide that, the emotions don't provide that, because everything in the mind and the emotions is polarity and conflict, and you never can see a situation clearly because everything is changing constantly. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, Pat.
Um, when I'm working, I'm giving every person about an hour to take care of whatever they need. And sometimes I lose track of the time in there, and I look at the clock and I find out that I've only got 5 minutes left. Is there a way to be more conscious of the stream of things that I need to accomplish during a time with people?
Well, you could answer that better than me. Look, there are elements involved. You have other clients that are coming to be with you. They pay you a certain amount of money for an hour's treatment, and you do what you can do within the allotted time. And if you're really focused in that hour, doing what you're doing, you will give them so much healing. In 5 minutes, you'll give them so much healing.
Mm,
Really focused, and centered inside, and that higher energy is doing it, and not you, following some routine in the mind, and
mm,
that never works. You know that better than I do, that doesn't work. But you know, look, this class goes on for an hour, maybe. I never check the time when I'm finished, but it's about an hour. And in the hour, there is an enormous amount of energy that flows into this meditation class because of my training. Years of doing this, of training, have taught me how not to interfere with God's work,
mm,
with spiritual work. And the energy flows. I take a little, bring my attention here, take a little, and suddenly, I'm an Esso station. God, it's just transmitter of Shakti, of energy. And that energy is very important because that is the energy that will truly enable people to arrive at a much greater and higher state of consciousness in themselves. That's the energy we need to nurture the chakra system. That's the energy we need to guide our lives. And you never know where that energy is going to take you. You really don't. I don't. I gave up years ago trying to figure out where it's going to, I just let it take me. And it always winds up doing something important that I have to learn in my life. So, look, I mean, in your profession, you have to transmit a lot of energy to people, which means you have to be really centered inside, balanced. Otherwise, they will just suck you dry. Also, you know, and life itself, especially when we separate the inner and the outer. I told you, it's like a metaphor. It's like a gigantic vacuum cleaner that eats everybody's energy. People just throw all their energy into, and by the time they're 40 and 50 years old, I mean, they're burnt out, they have heart conditions, they have all kinds of physical problems. They can't stand going to work. And it's a miracle what we have here. We can we can go to the Esso station, God's Esso station, and renew the energy. How many people can do that in their lives? I don't think a lot of people have that. They have a 2-week vacation at the end of the year, and they lie on the beach. And this meditation regenerates that energy. And you can use it in your profession, Pat, when you're working on people. You have that chi, that power that comes from the third chakra. That's healing power also, and you can use it to root yourself, to ground yourself, and to truly focus on what you're doing and not worry about the time. I mean, I used to go to a chiropractor. I don't know, Louis Savas. Remember Louis Savas? I mean, you had exactly 10 minutes in his thing. And in 10 minutes, you'd walk out of there floating. Really mean it.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable what that guy used to do. And he used to have a line of people waiting. And you got 10, 15 minutes maximum. But you went out of there, man, like every subluxation, the whole spine was straight in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, all I used to hear from him was talking about Rudy. He loved Rudy.
Yeah.
I mean it. He knew I was close to Rudy. And oh man, 10 minutes of Rudy, 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 Rudy. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. And it's not only Pat's profession, it's all our professions. Whatever you do, you have to be focused, you have to be centered, you have to be connected to a higher energy that allows you to do it in a deeper, more conscious way. I used to write books like that, 4 hours later, I'd come out of this thing and I thought it was like 10 minutes I was doing it. I mean that, you know, and, and I discovered it wasn't me writing the book. It was me in a state of surrender where the energy would come and write the book. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, there'll be class on Sunday. Thank you. God bless you all. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Sunday. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. And as I say, take this energy. You've filled up your tanks here. Take the energy with you. Don't leave it here in Zoom. Take it into what you do in your life. Let it, trust it, that it will guide you to do incredible things with your life. So God bless you all. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
And
you.
last thing, you'll have to, I'm very tired. I mean, the period between Rudy's birthday and Rudy's Samadhi Day is probably the strongest energy force I have all year. It's unbelievable. And I feel like I'm going 15 rounds with Mike Tyson, It's very powerful time for me. And I'm a little bit tired, so I'm talking a little bit tired, but yeah, it still comes out. It has to be learned. So God bless you. I'm looking forward to seeing you all and have a great weekend.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Stuart.